So I guess সবাই শুনতে পাচ্ছিস তাই তো? So basically, look, why I ask you to join, I have covered this topic in data science department already, and for your case, I have not yet covered. I thought that I'm going to get one class. Basically, it will take mostly 1 hour to understand this problem. This thing is said to be the transportation problem. Okay. Name of this problem is transportation problem. Transportation problem. So this is again one kind of problem where what you got, you have some warehouses, you have some factories, right? And corresponding to that warehouses and factories, you have some like one can able to say you got it like some demand and some supply. Okay, or demand and factory capacity. This kind of thing will be there, right? So please admit those who are in lobby. Okay, na? So it will become difficult for me to admit them during teaching. Okay. So the thing is, what I'm going to do here, look. So what kind of problem you are going to get? Basically, the problem may look like this. You got this warehouse like D1, D2, D3, and D4. Corresponding to that, you got one factory O1, O2, and O3. Okay, and you got a table like this. But the values are 19, 30, 10, 70, 30, 40, 60, 48, 70, 20. And AI is said to be the factory capacity. This is said to be the factory capacity. So this is said to be the factory capacity, right? Capacity, and here this BJ said to be the demands. This type of problem is said to be the transportation problem. So if you look at this problem, what you have in your hand.
Sir, mobile একটু উপর থেকে তুলবেন।
Okay. Clear? Okay, don't try to write it. Don't try to write it now. Basically, you are going to see this thing like down.
Okay.
So if you look here, what you can able to see, you can able to see that corresponding to that factory capacities, it is given like O1 is one factory, and corresponding to that factory, there must be capacity of 7 unit. Corresponding to O2, there is a capacity of 9 unit, and corresponding to O3, there is capacity of 18 unit. And again, the demands, like these are the warehouses, right? So here the demand is 5 unit, 8 unit, 7 unit, and 14 unit. So if you try to understand this problem, or if you try to think of this problem, what it is actually, look, simply, if you try to think it of like this way, that Flipkart is going to take some products from factories, then they are going to keep it in some warehouses, and from that warehouses, they are going to distribute, right? So all around the West Bengal, they have warehouses. Yes. So all around the West Bengal, they have warehouses, but the warehouses are not like every place. Warehouse is not possible, right? Warehouses are there in some certain places. Okay, so just imagine that ধরে নে আমতলাতে একটা ওয়্যারহাউস আছে, ডানকুনিতে একটা ওয়্যারহাউস আছে, ঠিক আছে? তাহলে আমতলা আর ডানকুনির মাঝখানে অনেকটা ডিস্টেন্স আছে, বুঝতে পারলি? তাহলে আমতলার ওয়্যারহাউসে কতটা জিনিস লাগবে, ইট অ্যাকচুয়ালি ডিপেন্ডস আপন দ্য demand of the people lives near Amtola. And for Dankuni, what will be the requirement? It actually depends upon the demands of that Dankuni nearer people. Understand my point? Yeah. But the product which they are going to take, like just imagine mobiles, Apple mobiles. Okay, so Apple iPhones are not, they are not prepared over here. They're preparing in some places, or they're assembling in south. Okay. So factories, those who are assembling them, they're in South India. And from that South India part, the things, the Apple mobiles are coming to these warehouses. Understand my point? So these factories which are, just imagine that they're staying in the uh, South India, they are denoted by O1, O2, and O3. Okay, and corresponding to that, the warehouses, they are placed in Amtola, Dankuni, Kolkata proper, and say like Katwa. These four are the warehouses. Okay, so obviously the demand and the supply actually you need to understand, right? Now, if you look at this problem, so you will say that, okay, sir, is it possible for us to solve this problem by using the knowing method that already we know? Then I'm going to say like, wait, yes. But before going to that, you have to understand what these values means. Okay. So look, this O1 is your factory and this D1 is your warehouse place, right? So from factory to warehouse, there must be some cost must be required, right? Understand my point? Yes or no? There must be some required cost to bring it from O1 to D1. Got my point? Yes or no? If you want to bring something from South India to Amtola, you have to pay some fees, right? So these values are the cost required to bring the product from O1 to D1. Understand my point? Similarly, this 30 unit is the cost required to bring the product from O1 to D2. This 50 unit is nothing but the cost required for to bring the product from O1 to D3. Understand my point? And so on. So these are the required costs, okay, to bring some element from some factory to some warehouse. Understand my point? So obviously, what will be my target? If you look at this problem, transportation problem, what will be my target? My target is to minimize the cost required. Understand my point? Yes or no? What will be my target? Is to minimize the cost required. Is it clear what I told you? Like I got some factories. Just imagine that the problem is like this. You got some factories outside West Bengal, and you got one factory inside West Bengal. Okay, na? So if you want to purchase some product, where you will try to purchase? You will obviously try to purchase it from the factory which is inside West Bengal, because in that case, transportation cost must be lower. Understand my point? Yes or no? If you got two factories, one factory is situated in West Bengal and another is outside the West Bengal. So obviously, the factory which is situated in West Bengal, they like just imagine that uh, you need 10 rupees to purchase one product from this factory. And again, the factory which is outside the West Bengal, just imagine that it takes 15 rupees to bring that same product. Okay, so obviously you are going to take the product from West Bengal. Understand it? Yes or no? Is it clear what I told you?
Yes, sir.
তো তাহলে এবার আরেকবার বলে দিই প্রবলেমটা কি। প্রবলেমটা হচ্ছে আমি আমার জিনিসপত্র আছে, আমার কাছে অনেক মালপত্র আছে, আমি মালপত্রগুলোকে সাপ্লাই করব। ঠিক আছে, আমার কাছে ফ্যাক্টরি আছে, তার করসপন্ডিং ওয়্যার হাউস আছে। ঠিক আছে, আমি ফ্যাক্টরি থেকে ওয়্যার হাউসে পাঠাবো, পাঠানোর জন্য কিছু টাকা লাগবে, সেই টাকার ভ্যালুগুলো হচ্ছে এটা। ঠিক আছে, আর সেই ফ্যাক্টরিতে কিছু একটা সার্টেন অ্যামাউন্ট তৈরি করে রেখে দেওয়া যায়, যে অ্যামাউন্টটা তৈরি করে রেখে দেওয়া যায় সেটা হচ্ছে ফ্যাক্টরি ক্যাপাসিটি। আর যে ওয়্যার হাউসে আমি পাঠাবো সেই ওয়্যার হাউসে একটা চাহিদা আছে, ঠিক সেই চাহিদার কে বলছি আমি ডিম্যান্ড। ঠিক আছে, তাহলে আমি ফ্যাক্টরি ক্যাপাসিটিটাও জানি কত, আমি ডিম্যান্ডটা কত সেটা জানি। ঠিক আছে, আমার টার্গেট কি হবে? আমার টার্গেট হচ্ছে একটা অপটিমাইজড ভ্যালু বার করা আর অপটিমাইজড সলিউশন বার করা, যাতে আমি বলতে পারি, বেসিক্যালি আমার টার্গেট হচ্ছে একটা অপটিমাইজড সলিউশন বার করা বা ভ্যালু বার করা, যেটা আমি বলতে পারবো যে সব থেকে কম এত খরচে আমি সমস্ত প্রোডাক্টকে, মানে সমস্ত কন্ডিশনকে ফুলফিলও করবো, এট দ্য সেম টাইম আমি আমার কস্টটাকে মিনিমাইজও করতে পারবো। বুঝতে পারলি কি পারলি না?
Yes, sir.
ওকে, আমার টার্গেট কি হলো? I will fulfill all the constraint. Along with that, I am going to minimize my costing. Like, look, if I have to send 5 unit over there, obviously I demand is 5 units, so I have to send 5 unit to D1. Instead of sending 5 unit, if I'm going to send 2 unit over there, that will not serve our purpose. Understand my point? So you can think it of like this way, that this problem is again nothing but a linear transportation problem, sorry, linear programming problem, or LPP. Okay, so what actually you know, so you can able to consider it like x1, this like x2, x3 and x4, so on. Okay, so I'm just going to consider I'm going to send from O1 to D1, I'm going to send x1 unit. From O1 to D2, I'm going to send x2 unit. From O1 to D3, I'm going to send x3 unit, and so on. So if you add how many variable you are going to get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 variable you are going to get. So this will be converted to a maximization or minimization problem, minimizing z, that is equals to 9. Just wait for a minute. Let me change the meeting properties or options. So who actually make me out? Look, this type of problem must be there in your exam. Okay, so try to understand this. If you can able to understand, it's okay. If you can't, then also it will be there. Okay, so we can able to convert this problem to a minimization problem like this. Along with the conditions, you can able to understand what the conditions are. Basically, all you need to do, you have to fulfill all the factory capacities as well as all the demands, right? So from these demands and factory capacities, we can able to form some constant subject to conditions, right? Some subject to conditions we can able to form, and using that we can able to solve a simplex problem and able to solve this problem. But look, a problem that consists of 12 parameters will become pretty much difficult to solve, right? Understand my point? Yes or no? Understand my point? So to solve a problem which actually have 12 parameters is difficult. You have already learned that if you got two or three parameters, two or three variables, then it will become difficult to solve. So instead of getting two or three variables, if you got 12 variables, then obviously it will become difficult, right? So we are going to use some new methodology over here. This methodology is said to be a Vogel's approximation method, or in short VAM. VAM. In short, the methodology is said to be VAM, Vogel's approximation method. To do that, what we are going to do first, we are going to write down the problem first. Now, look, these are the pretty much small problem, so that problem can be handled by you can see it or solve it by looking at the problem, but also still it is quite difficult to do that. But still, if you can, you can. But if the problem become pretty much bigger, like just imagine that Flipkart is transporting something, right? So in that case it will become pretty much difficult to transfer the product, right? And it takes enormous, like warehouses are pretty much big, like a set of warehouses is big. There may be a thousand of warehouses, and there may be like 10,000 factories, because they are now not dealing with some simple thing, they are dealing with multiple things. Understand my point? Yes or no? So this is the thing actually. So now what we are going to do, what we have to do to solve this problem, basically, look, so obviously if I want to allocate something somewhere, that you can able to understand that obviously we'll try to choose the minimum value. That will be my obvious choice. That means if I'm going to get like 20 rupees and 30 rupees, okay, to like same product, just imagine that you see a same product in three different websites, and they all of three cost some different amount. Just one website, the cost value is like 60 rupees, another website is like 50 rupees, and another website it is like 30 rupees. So which website you are going to buy it, purchase it, if the product is quite same? Obviously you will go for the 30 rupees that like that website. Understand my point? So obviously while choosing the thing, we'll obviously choose the smallest number. We'll try to assign the value in the smallest number. So if I want to send something from O1 to O1, like factory O1, that means what? Obviously, we'll try to send Like look, 10 unit is the smallest cost over here, right? So 10 is the smallest value over there. So we'll try to send at D4. Understand my point? From O1, we'll obviously try to send it to D4. Yes or no? But it is not feasible for every cases, right? To find out that whole thing using the way. Okay. So please admit the other people. Hmm. So if you look here, you can able to see. If you look here, you can able to see basically what we have. We will obviously try to allocate my value to the smallest amount 10. But if it is not possible always to find out the smallest value, so what will be my next target? Look, if I got if same product at 50 rupees, 40 rupees and 30 rupees in the website 1, 2 and 3. So obviously what will be our first target? To purchase it from website 3. If in website 3 it is finished or it is already sold out, then we will go for website 2. Got my point? Yes or no? So we'll start from the list value or we'll try to find it out from next to the list value, right? So obviously whenever you got this type of problem, what you have to do, look, you have to look at that all the values present in the row. Okay, then you have to choose the minimum value. You have to choose the minimum value, right? Minimum value is 10 and next to that minimum value is 19. Yes or no? 10 is the minimum value and next to that minimum value is 19. Okay, and what we are going to do, we are going to find out the difference between these two value and we are going to write it down over there, right? So 19 and 10, the difference is 9, so I write it down over there. Now look, in the second row actually, if you look at that second row, the value is 30, right? Smallest value is 30 and next to the smallest value is 40, right? So if we are going to take the difference between them, that's 40 and 30, the difference will become 10. Understand? Okay. And next, if you look at this next row, actually you can able to see 8 unit is the list cost and next to that it is 20, so the difference is 12. So we are going to write down the difference like this way. Similarly, we'll go do the same operation in column. The cost, lowest cost is 10, right? And next to that lowest cost is 20. So the difference is 20 minus 10, it is 10. For this one, it is 40 and 50. So the difference is again 10, right? For this one is 8, next one is 30. So the difference is 22, right? Now, look here. Here, if you look here, the value is 19 and next to that value is 40. So obviously the difference is 21. Yes or no? Okay, understand? What I have done, is it clear? Just wait for a minute. What I have done, is it clear? What I have done, I just find out the minimum value from each row and next to that minimum value and find out the difference between them, right? And after doing that, we write down all the differences like this. Next, after doing this, so basically, first you have to find out, like first thing you have to find out, you have to find, you have to find smallest or minimum value and next to minimum value and find out the difference. Find the difference. Find the difference. Okay. So after finding out the difference, what you have to do? Next, you have to find out the maximum difference. You have to find have to find the maximum difference okay, maximum difference present in row and column. Row and column. Look, so what we have done, we find out first the smallest element, we find out the minimum value, and next to minimum value, and then find out the difference. Now instead of that, here we got 19 and 10. So if we got 10, 30, 50, 10, then obviously the minimum value will be 10 and 10, so the difference will be 0. Understand my point? So here, if I want to choose the maximum value, maximum value is 22. Maximum difference is 22. So we are going to choose the maximum difference, because why? Look, here instead of using the 8 rupee, if we are going to send it from 30 rupees, then we have to use the maximum amount of money, right? So obviously we'll try to reduce that thing. তো আমার এখানে যদি 8 টাকার জায়গায় 30 টাকা দিয়ে পাঠাতে চাই, তাহলে ডিফিকাল্ট হয়ে যাবে না আমার কাছে ব্যাপারটা। 22 টাকার ডিফারেন্স হয়ে যাবে, তাহলে অবভিয়াসলি যেটা হাইয়েস্ট ডিফারেন্স তৈরি হচ্ছে সেটাকে আমি ফার্স্ট অ্যালোকেট করার চেষ্টা করবো। বুঝতে পারলি কি পারলি না? তাহলে যদি ফার্স্ট সেটাতে অ্যালোকেট করার চেষ্টা করি, তাহলে আমার নেক্সট কাজ কি হবে? নেক্সট আমি দেখবো তাহলে এর মধ্যে মিনিমাম কোনটা? 8। তাহলে আমি যখন 22টা পেয়ে গেলাম, তাহলে 22 প্রথম কি 8 হয়ে গেল, এটা ব্যাপারটা ঠিক তো? মিনিমাম ভ্যালুটা হচ্ছে 8, তাহলে অবভিয়াসলি আমি O3 থেকে পাঠাবো, কনফার্ম হয়ে গেলাম, ঠিক আছে? সো অবভিয়াসলি আমি গোইং টু সেন্ড ইট ফ্রম O3। কোথায় পাঠাচ্ছি? D2 তে। এবার দেখ, আমাকে বার করতে হবে কি কত ইউনিট আমি অ্যালোকেট করবো O3 থেকে D2 তে। দেখ, এই O3 কত ইউনিট তৈরি করে রেখেছে, ফ্যাক্টরিতে আছে কত ইউনিট? 18 ইউনিট, ঠিক আছে না? আর D2 চাইছে কত? 8 ইউনিট, হ্যাঁ কি না? তাহলে করসপন্ডিং যেটা তুই বার করলি, after finding out the minimum value, you have to do one thing, like look, every point has some position in row and column, okay na? So next you have to find out, after finding out the value, you have to check that, find out the minimum of the demand and supply. Next you will try to find out the minimum of demand and supply. Demand is like 8 and supply is like 18, so 8 obviously it will become, right? So if we are going to allocate it over there, the value we are going to allocate 8 unit, we are going to allocate. So in that case, so what happened in that case? The requirement for D2 is fulfilled. The requirement for D2 is fulfilled, yes or no? Now, earlier requirement for D2 was, now it is fulfilled, right? So whenever it is fulfilled, I just mark it like I erase that part. After doing that, next what we are going to do, the same thing we are going to repeat. Now again, this 7 unit still remains 7 unit. This factory 1 has used nothing, right? Factory O2 have not expensed anything from it, so the factory capacity will remain same. Next, this factory O3 actually already in send 8 unit to D2. So if it sends 8 unit to D2, so remaining value is 10 unit, yes or no? টোটাল 18 ইউনিট তোর হাতে আছে, 8 ইউনিট তুই পাঠিয়ে দিলি, তোর কাছে 10 ইউনিট পড়ে থাকবে, রাইট? And look at this D4, the requirement was 14, requirement was 7, and this requirement was 5. So now what we are going to do, we are going to do the same thing. Now just one thing you have to remember, whenever I fulfill demand of one warehouse, so in this actually column we are not going to consider. Instead of this column, if we are going to cross mark some row also, then that row we are not going to consider. Understand my point? Obviously you are not going to consider that row. So now if you look here, the value, smallest value is 10, next to that smallest value is 19, so difference is 9. So difference, I'm going to write it down like this. Next one is like the smallest value is 40, next value is 60, so the difference is 20, right? Next value is, now look here, the 30 value was there. Instead of taking 30, I consider 40 and 60, right? Because already I fulfilled the demand of D2, so that's why we are not choosing it like this way. So that's why we are choosing 40 and 60, okay na? So 30 is not present actually in next table. Again, What we got? We have already 10 unit we have in our hand, and the smallest value is 20, and next to that is 40, right? So simply that gives me as 20. From here we got the same value 10, 20 and 10. From here we got the same value like 10, and from here we got the same value like 21. Now if you look here, the difference value is 9, 20, 20, 10, 10 and 21. So which one is the maximum? 21 is the maximum. So now you can able to understand this 5 will enter. So obviously now I will try to send this or allocate this 5 unit to, I will try to send like fulfill the demand of this D1. Okay, so if I want to fulfill the demand of this D1, look, this to fulfill the demand of D1, O2 actually takes 70 rupees, O3 take 40 rupees, and O1 take 19 rupees. So what we are going to do? We are going to use O1 because that is the smallest value, right? Now, after looking at after finding out the value actually, after finding out the cell, so we are going to allocate it in this cell. So now corresponding to that cell actually, look, the factory was O1. How much O1 can able to provide? It's 7 unit, right? And how much the demand is 5 units. So obviously we are going to give the minimum of 5 and 7. So what is the minimum? 5. So obviously you're going to put 5 over there, allocate 5 over there. So if I allocate 5 over there, what happens? This demand one is also fulfilled, right? Understand my point? Yes or no? This demand one is also fulfilled, right? Next, okay. So now I allocate already from 7 unit, I allocate already 5 units. So how much left? 2 unit left in this factory. O1. Now next O2, the unit left is 9 unit, and O3 the unit left is 10 unit, and here D4 the unit left is 14 unit, and D3 unit left is 7 unit. Yes or no? Okay, and already I fulfilled the demand of D1 and D2, so it is done, right? Now if I want to find out the minimum value, it is nothing but so if I want to fulfill the look at here, so you can able to see the minimum value is nothing but 10, and next to that is 50. So the difference is 40, right? Here 40 and 60. So two values are there, right? So obviously I have to take the difference of these two values. So it will be like 20. Next the difference is like 70 and 20. So it will be like 50. 14 the difference is given 10, and 7 the difference remains 10. Another thing is quite same. So now if I want to find out the maximum value from here, what will be the maximum value? 40, 20, 50, 10 and 10. So the maximum value is 50. Understand my point? Maximum value is 50. So we have to allocate this. We will try to allocate this 10 unit. So if I want to allocate this 10 unit, look, which takes the minimum cost? Which takes the minimum cost?
20 D4.
20 takes the minimum cost, right? Okay, na?
Yes, sir.
So 20 take the minimum cost. So we are going to allocate that 10 unit. We will try to allocate that 10 unit to the 20. But now before allocating it, we have to check one thing. So 20 doesn't only belongs from O3, right? Or 20 belongs from O3. It also belongs from D4, right? So we have to verify that what will be our demand, right? So if you look at that demand, so now what I have to do corresponding to that 20, D4 and O3 is there. So we are going to find out the minimum of 10 and 14. So what is the minimum of 10 and 14? It is obviously 10, right? So we're going to allocate 10 over there. Understand? We're going to allocate 10 over there. যদি দুজনকার মধ্যে দেখ 20টা আমি দেখলাম যে 20তে আমি পাঠাবো 10 ইউনিট থেকে, তাহলে এবার আমার নেক্সট কোশ্চেন কি হবে? নেক্সট যে 20তে পাঠানো 20টা তো শুধু O3 তে নেই, 20টা সিমিলারলি D4 এও আছে, ঠিক তো? 20 যে শুধুমাত্র O3 তে আছে তা নয়, 20 D4 এও আছে। তাহলে অবভিয়াসলি আমি কি চেষ্টা করবো? আমি চাইবো যে আমার ফ্যাক্টরির যা মাল আছে সেটা আমার যা দেওয়ার ক্ষমতা, আমার দেওয়ার ক্ষমতা আছে 10 ইউনিট, তাতে আমি দেখবো যদি এটা ডিমান্ডটা যদি 10 ইউনিটের কম হয় তাহলে অবভিয়াসলি 10 ইউনিট পাঠাবো না। যদি ডিমান্ডটা 10 ইউনিটের বেশি হয় তাহলে তখন আমি কি করবো, তাহলে আমি 10 ইউনিট পাঠিয়ে দেবো। বুঝতে পারলি কি পারলি না? তার জন্য আমি মিনিমামটা নিচ্ছি। ডিমান্ড যদি কম হয়ে যায়, সাপ্লাই যদি বেশি হয়ে যায় তাহলে কোনো লাভ নেই। আবার সিমিলারলি সাপ্লাই যদি কম হয়ে যায়, ডিমান্ড যদি বেশি হয়ে যায় তাহলে কোনো লাভ নেই। তাহলে আমাকে যদি এই ইকুয়ালিটিটা মেনটেন করতে হয়, এই ইকুয়ালিটিটা মেনটেন করার জন্য কি করতে হবে, হোয়াট উই হ্যাভ টু ডু বেসিক্যালি, উই হ্যাভ টু টেক দ্য মিনিমাম অফ দিস টু, তাই না, ডিমান্ড এন্ড সাপ্লাই। ওকে, so we are going to allocate 10 over there. So if we allocate 10 over there, what happened? Now this factory O3 is closed. Factory O3 doesn't have any amount left in his hand, right? So next step, what we are going to do actually, we have this 4 cells left, and corresponding to that we got 2 unit over there, 9 unit over there. And now look, the demand was like 14 unit right over here, but already I allocate 4 unit, 10 unit. So how much left? 4 unit. And demand was like 7 unit. Okay, and it is like this. But one thing I have not told you, okay, but before solving that you should check that thing. Okay, I will tell you the thing at the end of the.
হ্যালো স্যার,
হ্যাঁ,
বলছি স্যার এটা ফার্স্ট থেকে তো জয়েন হয়নি, এই নেটের প্রবলেমের জন্য লাস্টের দিকে আরেকবার রিপিট করে দেবেন পুরো প্রসেসটাকে।
আমি একটা কাজ করেছি ওই জন্য রেকর্ডিং করে নিয়েছি, বুঝতে পারলি?
ওকে 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 স্যার, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে ঠিক
এটাকে
আছে।
মিটার করে দেবো,
হুম হুম
মিটে গেল সমস্যা। ওকে না?
ওকে ওকে, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ স্যার ঠিক আছে। হুম
So basically, I know there may be some network issue or something, so that's why I recorded the thing. But the thing is like where to send. Basically, I will upload it in YouTube in private mode and then send you the link. That will be the much easier thing. Otherwise, where I can able to upload. It is difficult for me to upload in the drive and then send it to you. Hello? Hello, I guess I'm audible, right? শুনতে পাচ্ছিস তো আমাকে?
Yes, sir.
আচ্ছা, look, now if you look here, so what I have, what left actually, this 4 position 50, 10, 40 and 60, this 4 position left actually, right? And corresponding to that, what you have 2 unit, the requirement of O1 is a factory, it can able to produce 2 unit, and O2 is a factory 2 that can able to send 9 unit. And what is my demand? My demand at D4 is 4 unit, and demand at D3 is 7 unit. Understand my point? So now what again we are going to do, what we are going to find out the difference. So 50 and 10, the value is like 40, right? 60 and 40, it is like 20, and again 4 and 60, that is like 50. 10 and 60, 10 and 60, it will be like 50, and next 40 and 50, the value is 10. So the maximum value is 50. Maximum value is 50, right? So if the maximum value is 50, that means obviously we're going to select this column. If I want to select this column corresponding to this column, you can see the values are 10 and 60. So which one is the lesser value? 10. So we are going to allocate this 4. We'll try to allocate this 4 in this 10 value, right? But before sending it to 10, that means what? The demand at 4 is nothing but the demand at D4 is 4 unit. But look at that factory which is going to provide the amount. It's like 2 unit it can able to provide, right? It can able to provide only 2 unit. Okay now, so what it can able to do, we have to take the minimum of these two. The minimum of these two is denoted by 2, so simply we can able to put 2 over there, maximum amount the factory can able to provide. So now you can see whenever the factory can able to provide the minimum of, I take minimum of these two, so this factory is closed because that factory can't able to provide anything. Now 2 place left, 40 and 60. Now what will be the values remaining? The remaining values are actually nothing but this one is 9 unit, this is already full, and this one is actually 2 unit, that 2 unit already I have provided, and 7 unit. So now you can able to understand this place I have to put 7 and this place I have to put 2. Clear? Is it clear? That is what I have to do. Okay now? Okay, So whenever I'm done with that, if I want to find out the maximum or minimum value, what I have to do, basically, look, the cost and the amount we are going to send. You have to look here. The 19 rupees was the cost, and I have 5 unit. I'm sending 5 unit. To send 1 unit, actually you need 19 rupees. To send 5 unit, how much amount you need? So obviously the value is minimum value is 5 into 19 plus. Look, next I'm allocated nothing. So this value is 0. We allocate nothing. The value is 0. We allocated 2 unit from here. So 10 rupees, and we allocated 2 unit from here. So obviously 2 into 10 plus. Now next is like 70 you have allocated nothing, 30 you have allocated nothing, 40 we allocate 7 unit. 7 into 40, right? Next 60 we allocate 2 unit, right? So 2 into 60. Now 40 we have allocated nothing, 8 we have allocated 8 unit from 8. So 8 into 8 unit plus 70 we have allocated nothing, and 20 we allocate 10 units. So obviously 10 into 20. So that will be the minimum of minimum value, right? And that is what we want to find out. You have to find out the sum of the whole thing, right? So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to take one picture of that, and I'm going to send it over there. Okay, but before solving this problem, you have to check the thing once. Like, you have to check this problem like this way. Look, here I told you this is nothing but the factory capacity, and this is nothing but the demand. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to check it. We have to check that demand and factory capacity is same or not. If demand and factory capacity is quite different, then the problem will become unbalanced problem. Okay, unbalanced problem, we have to do the same thing actually, but before going to do that, we need to use some procedure or something. We'll discuss that thing. So before going to that, you can able to see now these values actually 5, 8, 7, 14. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the total demand. 5 and 8 is 13, and 7 like 20, and then 34. 30. Now we are going to add the factory capacity, or how much factories can able to provide. If you look over here, you can able to see 7 unit, 9 unit, and 18 unit. 7 and 9, it is nothing but 16, 16 and 18, that is 34. So this is a called a balanced TP transportation problem. Okay, this one is a balanced transportation problem. Now the questions come like this way, that if the problem is not a balanced problem, if it is an unbalanced problem, then what happened? Okay, the procedure which we are going to use, that is quite same actually, but what you have to do extra, you have to add one virtual demand, or you have to add some virtual supply. Just imagine that same problem we are going to solve, and in that case D4 is not present. D4 is not present means this column is not present. So if we are going to write down the problem may be written like this. The problem may be written like this. O1, O2, O3. Three factories are there corresponding to that D1, D2, D3. Three warehouses are there. Okay. And I am just directly solving this problem. Okay. But because I know I have to add one value over there. So now if you look at here, we consider it like 19 or 70 40, 19 70 40, 5 which is, this one is like 30 38, 30 38, and this one is like 50 40 70, 50 40 and 7. And look here, this AIs are 7 9 18. AI is at 7 9 and 18. Look, now if you look at this problem, what you can able to see, this problem actually, if I'm going to add the value 5 8 13, and then it will gives me 20, and if I add from this side, what I'm going to get 34, right? So the value of this, actually this is what demand, and this one is nothing but the supply, right? Yes or no? Demand and supply is not equal. So this problem, So this is an unbalanced transportation problem. Yes. As it is an unbalanced transportation problem, we can't be able to solve it directly. To solve this, what we have to do, we have to convert it. We have to convert it to some balanced transportation problem. To convert this, look, which size value is lesser? Like we got less demand now, right? Understand my point? Like demand টাই তো কম 5, 8 আর 7 এটা হচ্ছে ডিমান্ড সাপ্লাই কিন্তু আমার যথেষ্ট আছে 7, 9 আর 18 তাহলে যদি আমার ডিমান্ড কম থাকে if the demand is lesser what we are going to do instead of that demand we are going to add one demand over there D1 D2 D3 and D4 we add one additional demand this D4 is the additional demand right and what the matrix will be converted to this will be converted to this so this will be nothing but 19 70 40 30 30 and 8 50 40 and 70 now the demand was like 5 unit 8 unit 7 unit and now if you look here what is the difference between these two demand and supply 34 minus 20 that is 14 unit right so obviously we need to allocate one additional demand of 14 unit so if I'm going to allocate 14 unit demand but it will not impact our problem so what is the way that all of you know actually while solving the problem using simplex method what we have done while writing down the coefficient of in the case of slack and surplus variable we multiplied it with 0 so if we consider it will take 0 cost to send the thing so it will not impact our solution actually right so now and corresponding to that now my value was 9 the production is this so now if you look at here the value is nothing but 34 so it will be converted to so this is converted to better to write it better to solve it from here okay otherwise I have to write down another step so this is now balanced transportation problem understand my point so what I got an unbalanced transportation problem where the demand was lesser but the supply was higher what I have done
D4 এর ডিমান্ডটা কি 14 ওটা মানে এক্সট্রা নেওয়া হলো মানে ব্যালেন্স করার জন্য জিনিসটা
একদম আমার
আচ্ছা
কাছে 20 ইউনিট ডিমান্ড ছিল আর 34 ইউনিট সাপ্লাই ছিল তাহলে এবার তো আমি বুঝতে পারছি না আমি কাকে কোথায় পাঠাবো it will become difficult for me na to think that where which value I'm going to send or which amount I'm going to send where ওকে না তো তার জন্য আমি কি বলছি বলছি কারণ আমি কি সলভ করতে জানি ব্যালেন্স ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন প্রবলেম সলভ করতে পারি ঠিক আছে না তাহলে অবভিয়াসলি আমার টার্গেট কি থাকবে ব্যাপারটাকে ব্যালেন্স করে নেওয়া তাহলে ব্যালেন্স করতে গেলে আমাকে কি করতে হবে অবভিয়াসলি যদি আমার ডিমান্ডে 14 ইউনিটের ঘাটতি থাকে তাহলে আমাকে একটা ভার্চুয়াল ডিমান্ড দিতে হবে যেটা 14 ইউনিটে দেখ যদি এরকম হতো যে আমার
স্ল্যাক আর সারপ্লাস ভেরিয়েবলের মতনই কাজ করছে জিনিসটা
একদম যদি সাপ্লাই আমার ধর এবার ধরে নে উল্টো দিকে সাপ্লাই অ্যাকচুয়ালি এটা স্ল্যাক এন্ড সারপ্লাস ভেরিয়েবলই বুঝতে পারলি
হ্যাঁ
এটা স্ল্যাক এন্ড সারপ্লাস ভেরিয়েবল আমি বললাম তো মানে এই যে প্রবলেমটা এটাকে আমরা একটা সিমপ্লেক্স প্রবলেমে কনভার্ট করতে পারি যার মধ্যে 12খানা ভেরিয়েবল থাকবে কারণ এখানে কতগুলো ছিল 1 2 3 4 সরি এখানে 9টা ভেরিয়েবল থাকবে বুঝতে পারলি করসপন্ডিং টু দ্যাট তার সাথে তোর হচ্ছে এই যে কন্ডিশনস গুলো আমার 7 ইউনিট তাই না 7 ইউনিট আমায় পাঠাতে হবে তাহলে আমাকে অবভিয়াসলি ক্যালকুলেট করে নিতে হবে না ভ্যালুটা কি হবে তাহলে 19x1 প্লাস 30x2 প্লাস 50 এটা অবভিয়াসলি লেস দ্যান ইকুয়ালস টু সাম 7 ইউনিট হতে হবে তাই না 7 ইনটু ইউনিট মানে আলটিমেটলি আমার এই x1 প্লাস x2 প্লাস x3 এটা 7 থেকে কম হতে হবে এটা প্লাস এটা প্লাস এটা কম হতে হবে এটা প্লাস এটা এর থেকে কম হতে হবে এটা প্লাস এটা প্লাস এটা এর থেকে কম হতে হবে এটা প্লাস এটা প্লাস এটা আমি দেখাচ্ছি কনভার্ট করে so later on I'm going to convert this thing to some simplex problem I'm going to show you so if you look here so this will become a balanced transportation problem now what I have done actually the requirement was like 14 unit less it was 14 unit less like demand was so I added one virtual column like this way 14 unit demand so if in some cases there may be supply may be less So in that case, we are going to add some virtual factory over there, right? So instead of going to get this type of problem, if you are going to get it like instead of getting this problem, one may get this problem. Okay, right? Taken. So this is one type of problem where we have to add some demand. You have to add demand. You have to add virtual demand to make the problem balance transportation problem, understand? And in some cases you may got it like this way, that you got O1, O2, O3 factories are there, and corresponding to that D1, 2 and D3, three demands are there, right? The value is like 10, 12, 13, 14, 8, 10, 8, 7, 12. And that now look here. What is my demand? This is my AI. This one is my supply. And demand is Bj. So if the demand is high, that means it is like 7 unit, 6 unit, 7 unit. And the supply is 3 unit, 4 unit, and unit. Now look. Now look here. What is given? Supply is given like 3, 4, and 6. That means 13 unit. Total supply is possible is like 13 unit, right? Well, 13 unit supply is possible. And what was the demand? 20 unit, right? Now the demand is high, but the supply is lesser, right? So this is again, this is, so supply is less than demand here, right? Supply is less than demand. So this is again unbalanced transportation problem, right? So to make it balance, you can able to understand that now demand was high, but our factory can't able to fulfill the demand. So what we have to do? We have to add some additional factory over there, right? So in next step, to make it a balanced transportation problem, what we are going to do, O1, O2, and O3, then we got this. Now we have to add some additional factory over there, so that that factory can able to give some virtual amount that is denoted by O4, and the value one is D1, D2, and D3, right? And if you got it over there, you can able to see it like this. So the values are like 10, 12, 13, 14, 8, and 10, 8, 7, and 12. Now already I know what this factory O1, O2, and O3 can able to provide 3 unit, 4 unit, and 6 unit. And corresponding to my demand, it was like 7, 6, and 7. Now what is the difference was there? 20 and 13, right? 20 and 13, the difference is 7 units. So we have to set up one factory, virtual factory, which can able to give 7 unit supply. And if it is going to give 7 unit supply, the value will become 20. And look, we add 000 over there, so that in this factory which I have added, it will not show any impact. Understand? So this cost changes to balanced transportation problem, balanced tip, and that we can able to solve very easily. Now I don't know it is clear to you or not, the solution of the balanced transportation problem, but let me show you one of the solution of one of them, right? If you look here, look at this problem which I have converted to balanced transportation problem, right? Earlier this problem was like unbalanced transportation problem. Here the supply is less than demand. So what we have done, we have add one factory over there, obviously a virtual factory added we have over there, and then it will become converted to a balanced transportation problem, right? So after getting this balanced transportation problem, we can able to solve this problem. Let me show you how to solve this problem, like O1, O2, O3, and O4. So this is my problem now, and corresponding to that, we got three factories, right? We got three demands, D1, D2, and D3. The value is like 10, 12, 13, 14, 8, 10. Next one is like 8, 7, and 12. Then 0, 0, and 0. This is virtual. This is virtual. What I can able to say? Virtual row we have added over there, right? So after doing that, what we are going to do? Look, uh, the supply capacity of the factory is 3 unit, 4 unit, 6 unit, and 7 unit. And demand for this same is like 7 unit, 6 unit, and 7 unit, right? Understand? So now if you look at this problem, this one is nothing but a balanced transportation problem. So what we are going to do, we'll try to find out the, look at here, we'll try to find out the minimum. Well, over there it is 10, and next to that it is 12. 10 and 12. Look, instead of getting 12 over there, if you got 10 and 10, then obviously the difference will become 0. Understand? So here the difference will become 2, right? Now if you look here, 8 and 10, the difference is 2. If you look here, the difference is 1. If you look here, the difference is 0, right? If you look here, the difference is 13, because 0 is the least value and next value is 13. Sorry, 0 and, sorry, I'm very sorry, 0 and 10. 0 is the least value, then value is 10, so it will become 10, right? Now if you look here, 0 is the smallest value and next value was like simply 7, so the difference is 7. Here it is like 0 and 8, so the difference is 8. Now what I have to do, I have to find out the maximum value. So if I try to find out the maximum value, I can able to see 10 is the maximum value, yes or no? 10 is the maximum value, so we are going to choose 10. So if you look at this 10, look, so if you look at this 7, which one is the least amount over there? 0 rupees, right? So obviously we'll try to try to send the amount, fulfill the demand from this 0 rupees sale. Okay, now if you look here, you can able to see corresponding to this, the factory actually there is O4, and how much factory can able to provide? 7 unit. And what is the need of that? It is nothing but the 7 unit, right? So the minimum of 7 and 7 will be 7. So simply we are going to allocate 7 over there. So whenever we allocate 7 over there, you can able to understand this factory is closed. Yes, is it clear? Yes or no? This factory is closed. That factory do not have anything. And if you look here, the demand of that D3 is also fulfilled, right? Yes or no? 7 unit demand is also fulfilled. Yes. So here in one go, we actually remove one row and one column, but that will be you are very lucky. That's why you got this kind of thing. But often here that is not going to happen, right? Now, so for this factory, 3 unit, it can able to provide. Next factory can able to provide 4 unit. Next can able to provide 6 unit. And what was the requirement? 7 unit and 6 unit. Now, if I want to find out the minimum difference, 10 and 12, it will be nothing but 2. Here it will be nothing but 6. Here it will be nothing but 1. And from here, the difference will be 7 and 8. Obviously 1. 8 and 10, it will be 2. So what is the maximum value? You can look here. The maximum value is nothing but, the maximum value is 6, right? 6. So corresponding to that, you got 4 over there. So 4 means obviously you will try to pick. So you already find out the row. Okay. So in that row, what is the minimum value? It is 8. So what will be your target? Obviously to allocate the thing in 8. Understand? So if I want to allocate the thing in 8, so look here. So corresponding to that 8, which demand I am fulfilling? I am fulfilling the demand D2, right? So now 6 and 4, 4 and 6, I will take the minimum. So what is the minimum of 4 and 6? Minimum of 4 and 6 is 4. So I allocate 4 over there. So when I allocate 4 over there, this factory O2 doesn't have anything to provide, right? So this factory is closed now. So this factory can able to provide me 3 unit. This factory is already closed. This factory can able to provide me 6 unit. And if you look here, 6 unit was required, but already I got 4 unit. So how much in my hand? 2 unit. If you look here, 7 unit remains. Now we will do the same thing, find out the difference. The difference of minimum value is 10, next one is like 12, so difference is 2. At the difference is like 1, Here the difference is like 8 and 12 and 7. 7, it's like 5. Here the difference is like 2. So what is the maximum value over here? 2. Maximum difference is 5, and corresponding to that the value is 2. Maximum difference is 5, and corresponding to that the value is 2. So if I want to allocate this 2, what will be my choice? Look, this is the column D3 I am actually fulfilling. In D3 the minimum value is 7, so obviously we will go for 7. Okay now, as my target is to make the problem minimized, find out minimized value, so obviously we'll go to 7. And now corresponding to that the value is O3. So O3 can able to provide 6 unit, and how much I need 2 units. So obviously I'm going to take 2 units from that, right? So if I'm going to take 2 units from there, so this is already get closed, right? Because D3 is fulfilled. Now how much remains in my hand? If you look here, the remaining value is 3 unit, 4 unit, and how much you got? 7 unit over here. So obviously you can see two place remains, and the value is this. So obviously I can able to write down 3 is over there and 4 over there, right? So the minimum value what we are going to get, the minimum value will be 3. So look, 10 unit was the unit cost, and I am going to provide 3 unit over there. So simply it will be 3 into 10. Next one is like 4 unit is the 8 unit is the unit cost, and I'm going to give 4 unit to it. So 4 into 8 will be the value. Next value is like again 4 into 8. Next value is like 2 into 7. And look at the last value, it is 0 into 7 into 0. So now look, this 7 into 0 doesn't have any impact. Yes, understand? The 7 into 0 doesn't have any impact. Okay now. So then what you have to do, you have to take the total sum and you have to write it down. So I guess it is clear. These 3 type of thing, like normal balanced transportation problem, next unbalanced transportation problem. Unbalanced transportation problem may be divided in 2 part. One is like in some cases supply may be less than demand, and in some cases the demand may be greater than some supply. Okay, and whenever we got this value, it will be converted to this line. Okay now, so if you have any query or any doubt regarding this, you can ask. Okay, otherwise what I'm going to do, I have taken the record, I've recorded the session, so I'm going to download the record and I'm going to upload it from a private channel of somewhere in YouTube, and you can see this thing. And along with that, I'm going to share the PDF what I have done actually. Okay, and remember that this type of problem is nothing but the simplex problem. Okay, that can be what this type of problem can be converted to a simplex problem. So if you don't able to understand my thing, or if you can't able to understand what I am telling you, look at over there, look at the problem which I got. So if I got this problem like O1, O2 and O3, and the value of the demand and supply, you can see that D1, D2 and D3. If you look over here, and the value is like 19, 30, 50, 70, 30, 40, 48 and 70. The corresponding value is 7, 9, 18, 5, 8 and 7. Okay, now look, I can able to convert this problem to a simplex problem. Look, I am going to consider what? I am going to consider it like x1 unit I am going to send from O1 to D1. Okay, x1 unit. From O1 to D2 I am going to send x2 unit. From O1 to D3 I am going to send x3 unit. From O2 to D1 I am going to send x4 unit, right? So from O1 to D1 I'm going to send x1 unit. O1 to D2, O1 to D2, I'm going to send x2 unit. And similarly, from O3 to D3, I'm going to send x9 unit. Understand my point? Okay, now. So now, if I want to find out the solution, look, this is what transportation problem. That means what I want to minimize. I want to minimize the thing. So minimization of z is nothing but 19x1 plus 30x2 plus 50x3 plus 70x4 and so on up to 70x9. That is my objective function. Understand? Now look here. What was the supply? The supply was like 7 unit, right? The supply was like 7 units. Now how much amount I am sending from here? X1, X2 and X3. So X1 subject to x1 plus x2 plus x3. Look here, this subject to condition, what I got, this x1 plus x2 plus x3 must not be greater than or equals to 7. Yes or no? যদি আমার factory, if my factory capacity or factory I can able to uh, keep 7 unit, okay, I can't able to send 8 unit from that factory. Yes, so that value x1 plus x2 plus x3 must be less than equals to 7. Similarly, x4 plus x5 plus x6 less than equals to 9. Look, I am considering it like less than equals to, but you can able to consider it like equals to, you can able to consider it like equals to. Okay, and from here you can able to see x7, x8 and x9 less than equals to 18 or equals to 18. Look, why I'm saying less than equals to or equals to, because if it was a balanced transportation problem, so in that case it will become equals to. If it is an unbalanced transportation problem, then it will become less than equals to. Understand my point? So in case of unbalanced transportation problem, it is not sure that we are going to fulfill everything, or we are going to fulfill the value, exact value, right? But in case of balanced transportation problem, oh, it is sure that we have to fulfill the exact amount of value. So in case of balanced transportation problem, it will be equals to, and similarly, and in case of unbalanced transportation problem, it will be less than equals to. Similarly, from these three conditions like demands, we can able to find it out like this way also: x1 plus x4 plus x7 is less than equals to 5, right? Or equals to 5. Next one is like x2 plus x5 plus x8 less than equals to 8 or equals to 8. It depends upon the balanced transportation unbalanced. And like last one is like x3 plus x6 plus x9 less than equals to 7 or equals to 7. So you can able to understand what we got. We corresponding to this problem, we got a problem with how many variables? 9, along with how much conditions? 6 conditions, right? So it will become difficult for you to solve. So that's why what we have done, we converted or use this easy VAM method to solve this problem. Now look, you are going to get multiple solutions of this transportation problem. One of them is northeast corner rule, another is matrix minima method. But all of the out of all of these rules, northeast corner rule or matrix minima method, VAM is the best rule. Actually, VAM provides you the best approximation. All the values we are going to get is the approximate value. Why I'm saying this? Because for this northwest corner rule, you are going to get some defined value. For VAM, we are going to get some defined value. But the most appropriate value you are going to get, it is from VAM. So obviously, you don't go for this northwest corner rule or other rules. Obviously, you will go for this VAM, Vogel's approximation method. Understand my point? Okay, na? So today's class is up to this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the picture of this thing. I'm going to share it with you in a WhatsApp group. If you need it, need this thing, read this thing. And let me switch off my recording. And I want to say one thing. Look,